No.
Took my tongue out.
Such an idiot.
Linda.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville Citizens Night, as well as Council Work Session. Today is Thursday, October 5th, 2017, approximately 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I open up Citizens Night, please make sure your cell phones are on vibrate or turn them off, please. Tim, if you'll grab the list.
Turn mine off.
You have to bite it.
Yeah.
Do you know we rescheduled the equipment?
And I would ask, ladies and gentlemen, certainly it is your time to address council, but we're going to stick to the 5-minute rule, if you will.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
I put my name first on that list, so my name's Kevin Kuchera. I will not be speaking.
That's correct. You're part, yes,
Yes.
part of the
Thank you.
agenda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paulie.
Okay.
Nicole Henline, come on up, please.
Thanks, Nicole.
Hello, I'm Nicole Henline. I'm the director of the Monroeville Public Library and a resident of Monroeville. I'd just like to come and let you know what's going on at the library, and thank you for your continued support. September was Love Your Library Month, so all of the donations were matched from the Buncher Foundation. And so we don't have the total yet, but we thank everyone who donated. It was a wonderful thing to behold. We had several fundraisers, so thank you for everyone who supported those. We have a couple exciting pieces of news. We were recently accepted into the Harwood Institute's Public Library Innovators Lab. It was a competitive process, and our library was one of 20 in the state chosen to participate. The state covers all of the costs of the training and the travel. And the Harwood theory is called turning outwards, using community feedback to make strategic decisions to meet community needs. And we're really looking forward to participating and bringing that knowledge back and helping the community as a whole.
When is that?
It is, the 2.5-day training is in November, but then it's a 2-year process where we have the coaching continues through monthly phone calls. And then the 3rd year, as recipients, we are asked to mentor another library who will then go through the same process.
Wow, great.
So we're very excited. And as I said, we're in the process of creating a strategic plan. So if anyone on council, anyone in the audience, or anyone on television has not yet done so, please go to the library website and complete the survey. We want as many people as possible, whether you use the library or not. If you do, we want to know what you like. If you don't, we want to know why. Maybe there are some things that we have that you don't know about, or some things that you want that we might be able to provide. So that survey is still open until the middle of October. And please join us in the middle of October, on October 14th, for the Fun Fest at the library. There will be many community organizations. Some of the great departments at the municipality are joining us. Rotary is joining us, Visit Monroeville, and the Chamber of Commerce, and many more. There's going to be food trucks, games, raffles. The Carnegie Science Center is doing 2 different programs. There is a cupcake contest.
I'll be there.
Our 2 youngest age groups for the cupcake contest are filled, and there are waiting lists, but there's still slots left in the high school age cupcake contest. So if you know anyone who's interested, let them know there's still room. And there will be parking available in the school district parking lots, the high school and CSE. And the Visit Monroeville shuttle will be able to bring people back and forth if they don't want to make the trek, or they make the trek and they don't want to make the trek back. So there will be plenty of parking. We're also thrilled to announce that we found out Tuesday afternoon that we received a $10,000 grant from the EQT Foundation that will allow us to offer a children's program on diverse literature. It's called Reflections of Me. Studies have shown how important it is for kids to be able to see themselves in books. And so not only will this grant allow us to purchase books for ourselves, some to give to the school district and some to give to the Pitcairn Reading Room, it will also allow us to do a program each month highlighting a different culture and allowing everybody to participate and appreciate it. So we're very excited about that. October is going to be about Mexico and Latin America. November is going to be about West Africa. And December is going to be about Western Europe. And it will go well into next year and probably into 2019.
Wow.
So I had 2 pages and I left the, oh, here. Okay. There's so many things. I can't tell you about all of the events going on. It would take too much of your time. But I wanted to highlight a few things. We have a series called Science Adventures, and we had a great program on September 12th on precision genetic engineering. And it was attended by over 40 people. The next program in the series is scheduled for Monday, October 30th, and it will feature Dr. Mike Walker, author of Quantum Fuzz, The Strange True Makeup of Everything Around Us. So please do join us for that. On November 6th at 7 o'clock, there's going to be a great program on the 75 Years of Wonder Woman, presented by Wayne Weiss, a comic book writer, artist, retailer, and scholar. And for all of the other wonderful events, please pick up a newsletter. They're here at the Municipal Building, at the library, online, and of course everything is on our website. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Nicole.
you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Bob Elms. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Bob Elms. I'm really here just to give council a heads up. 2 years ago, when I was on the Gateway School Board, Gateway put together a plan for reorganization of the Gateway School District and include 5 different options. According to Pennsylvania School Code, a mandatory public hearing has to occur 3 months before the board takes any actions at all regarding closing of a school. That public hearing actually occurred December 9th, 2015. By the time the 3 months had expired, all those options had been discarded. And, you know, that's the whole purpose of it. It's a cooling off period. And just recently I read that the school board, the Gateway School Board, approved and submitted a rezoning request to Monroeville. The seated school board seems to have taken the first step in closing the Gateway Middle School. This has been done without the mandatory public hearing of 3 months in advance of this action. And just to reiterate, no public hearing on the closure of the Gateway Middle School has occurred, yet 3 board members have stated the next step after rezoning is a motion to sell or lease the Gateway Middle School property. Now, you can't sell a property until you close it, so, you know, even though nobody said it's going to be closed, the implication is it's going to happen. I was a little disturbed by this, and so I sent a copy of all of this information that I saw off to the Department of Education. It's not my opinion that counts, it's what the Department of Education determines, and it's in the process of trying to find the right people to evaluate it. And so my purpose here is, just to be clear, the legal issue is not what will be done with the Gateway Middle School. The legal issue is whether or not the school code has been violated by not holding a public hearing 3 months prior to the board taking any action. And the state's made it clear through the Sunshine Act and the school code that really you shouldn't be doing things behind closed doors. It has to have public action and public opportunity to discuss things. How Monroeville handles the Gateway request to rezoning really is important. You know, if the Department of Education says there's no problem, they haven't violated anything, who cares? But if the Department of Education comes back and says, yes, this is inappropriate, if Monroeville takes no action, there's no problem either, because there's no damage that has been done. If the property is rezoned, that's kind of serious, and I don't know what would happen after that, because that's a commitment that has occurred based on an improper action. So that's my warning here. It's really, there doesn't seem to be any rush to do this. I would just suggest that the municipality wait to see what PDE has to say about, the legality of what's going on. That's going to keep you out of trouble. And none of the taxpayers need any trouble here. The other thing is the Gateway Middle School is a public property. The public really should have the opportunity to hear and understand what's going on. And I would just ask that, the municipality make sure that the public has an opportunity to hear what's going on and address the issue through a public meeting. Whether or not the Gateway does it, I don't know. So I talked to a few residents, and I'll tell you what, the residents want answers, not actions right now. So I just passed that on to you. Thank you very much for this
Thank you, Bob.
opportunity.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave the floor open for anybody who'd like to address council. This is your time to address council. Please sign in, state your name for the record, if you would, please.
I know nobody knows my name. My name is Alyssa Beck, and I live on Trotwood Drive in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, very close to the landfill in Monroeville, very close to the industrial zones. I want to thank Council for taking swift action, we hope, next Tuesday, to remove the threat of drilling in all zoning districts in the municipality. We pointed out to you that Monroeville Zoning Code allowed for oil and gas drilling in all zoning districts as a conditional use, and there's an amendment up for vote on Tuesday. One has to wonder why that was ever made law, to allow the possibility of an industrial activity to occur in our residential, commercial, and retail zones areas of Monroeville. We know today that to allow an industrial use under any condition in a residential area is illegal. So again, I thank Council for curing this issue. However, the text amendment that you are proposing, which we couldn't find on the website, we were told at the last meeting it would be put up there, but we couldn't find it on the website. I'm glad Mr. Little sent it to me, and I could pass it along, and we could look at it over the past few days. So the text amendment that is being proposed, relegating oil and gas extraction to the M2 industrial zone as a conditional use, is a good first step, What would be very helpful for the community to know is what are the conditions that would need to be met in order to grant a conditional use. Have you thought this important matter through, and what are your thoughts on it? What would be the setbacks required as a condition? In Wilkins Township, our neighboring township, their zoning ordinance enacted in January of this year, of 2016, requires a 3,000-foot setback from protected structures. This is from their zoning ordinance, how they define a protected structure. Any occupied, and I quote, any occupied structure measured horizontally within 1,500 feet of a drilling site or within 3,000 feet of the outside wall of the nearest permanent structure of an oil and gas development facility or disposal well. The term shall not include any structure whose owner has signed a waiver relieving the operator from implementation of the measures established herein or other applicable provisions of the code of the Township of Wilkins. In the waiver, the owner must acknowledge that the operator is explicitly relieved from complying with the regulations applicable to a protected structure. The waiver must be notarized. In South Fayette Township, they have a 26-page ordinance that deals with this very impactful land use. They too relegated drilling to industrial districts in a decidedly different way to encourage the preservation of prime agricultural land and natural and historic resources through easements, transfer of development rights, and rezoning, to ensure that municipalities enact zoning ordinances that facilitate the present and future economic viability of existing agricultural operations in the Commonwealth, and don't prevent or impede the owner or operator's need to change or expand their operations in the future in order to remain viable. To encourage the revitalization of established urban centers, and to permit municipalities to minimize such problems as may presently exist or which may be foreseen, and wherever the provisions of this act promote, encourage, require, or authorize governing bodies to protect, preserve, or conserve open land consisting of natural resources such as our parks, which you have acted on in the past and may have to act on again, forests and woodlands. Any actions taken to protect, preserve, or conserve such land shall not be for the purposes of precluding access for forestry. What does this mean for the residents of Monroeville? I take it to mean that we are to, number one, preserve the quality of life within our residential neighborhoods, so preserve the character of the municipality of Monroeville, to preserve and expand our residential tax base in a manner that is consistent with the density, intensity, and environmental quality of existing residential development with and around the community. 3, to preserve and expand the township's residential and business tax base in a manner that protects surrounding land uses and maintains a high degree of environmental quality. Number 4, to provide adequate community facilities and services to meet the needs of Monroeville's residents and its business community. Number 5, to undertake physical improvements to the man-made landscape that will create a better community and improve the attractiveness of Monroeville as a place to live and work. Number 6, to preserve the natural qualities and characteristics of land that is unsuitable for development. 7, to provide citizens and prospective developers with a clear understanding of the land use decision-making process. And 8, to encourage citizen participation in the land use decision-making process. I do appreciate your action to cure a glaring fault in our zoning code, but that is not enough. Would you have done so on your own if we had not pointed out this fault? I would ask that the council leave this chamber and take this matter to our neighborhoods and residents. We asked at the last meeting to set up a series of community conversations. I'm asking if that's happened, and if so, and if not, why not? And when will it happen? We need 3 to 4 community meetings in this chamber to discuss these issues back and forth with council members, with our solicitor, with our mayor, with our manager. I would ask the council has not provided citizens with a clear understanding of land use decisions being made. I talked to several people yesterday at our temple, Temple David, professionals, one of whom is here today, a pathologist who worked for much of his career at Forbes Hospital. He had no idea what was going on here, and with all due respect, he's a brilliant individual. This information needs to be very clear as clear can be for every of the 20,000 or however many residents there are in the municipality of Monroeville to realize what is going on here. Additionally, Monroeville is in the process of working with Wilkins Township and Churchill Borough to develop a new joint comprehensive plan. What are our community goals in this matter? Do they have anything to do, and has anything been mentioned at all about the shale fracking play? It isn't enough to simply post a meeting notice on the web page. Has anyone thought to survey the community as to what they might like to see? Has any public education been done on zoning and land use laws so that the public can make comment on proposals with some level of understanding? In conclusion, I thank you for the amendment. However, we still have much to do, as did South Fayette Township and Wilkins, to build out a good protective zoning ordinance governing oil and gas land uses. This ordinance is very light on details. Was it 1 page or 2? And does not speak at all to the critical matters associated with oil and gas drilling. It is time that this council engage with the whole of the community, not just those of us who come to the council meetings, and not just those of us like me who have the background and education and will to be here meeting after meeting after meeting to prepare a succinct 5-minute talk with the hope that people are watching this on TV and have some clue about what I just really said very, very quickly. If anybody who's listening out far and wide really understood what I just said in 5 minutes, they too would be definitely in the Mensa category. It is time to draft and adopt a detailed and comprehensive ordinance to govern oil and gas use in Monroeville. And I can provide the Wilkins ordinance and the South Fayette ordinance if you're not able to get it yourselves. Thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the floor open for anybody who'd like to address council. Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. And all members are present except Mr. Johns, a little bit under the weather. So, council, if we'll look at the Citizens Night meeting of September 7th, 2017, the council work session of September 7th, 2017, and the regular council meeting of September 12th, 2017. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, we'll move over to the tax reports of our tax collections. Once again, council, any additions or corrections? Seeing none, we'll move over to the payroll report. Any additions or corrections, council? List of bills and budget transfers, and Linda, we'll start off with you. Anything for us?
Nothing, sir.
No questions, Mayor.
And Ron?
I had one, but Tim answered it. I'm good.
Very good. Paul?
No, sir.
Steve?
I have nothing.
And-
sir.
All righty. Moving over to the consent agenda, old business. Tim, if you would.
Okay, we have three land development and/or subdivisions. The first one is old business. A&L Motors, applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct the multiple building additions and expand vehicle storage areas and associated site amenities. The property is located at 3780 William Penn Highway in the C2 Business Commercial District. This is for the construction, and I believe the applicant or engineer.
Yes, engineer. My name is Kevin Kuchera. I'm here on behalf of A&L Motors. How you doing, Council?
Good.
Good. What we have here is, the site is currently the A&L site. That's kind of sandwiched between William Penn Highway and Monroeville Boulevard. They're doing in the dark brown, you can see the building expansions to the existing facility. So there'll be 4 little areas here. This is a service bay expansion with an upper level that a bridge will access from the access road coming down here from the upper part of the site. We talked about this in Planning Commission. We've addressed the comments that Monroeville staff had. We've got a couple outstanding comments with the Sanitary Authority, and we have the Allegheny County Conservation District pending for the MPDS permit. This is going to be used for vehicle storage. Vehicle storage, there's a detention pond. We have everything linked and discharging downstream, and it's a pretty elaborate stormwater management system, but we abided by all the ordinances and those type of things. There's an access here on Monroeville Boulevard. We have encouraged our client to unload cars here. We've also run truck turning applications to check and see if a fire engine can get this way and through the site, and it can. So if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Or
Council?
Do you normally unload right on 22 now, and you're going to therefore change it to a safer position?
do you say 22 out here?
Yes.
I'm not aware of that.
Where
I'm
do
not-
they unload right now?
I believe, from Brian, they unload on Mall Boulevard occasionally.
They
on
do?
Mall Boulevard.
Yeah.
I will
They go around
iterate.
the back so they don't...
Yeah, I will get back to Brian and let him know that from A&L, that we've discussed it in meetings, and that they should unload in this area up here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's a concern. I brought it up to him a
Well,
number
yeah,
of
because
times.
there's a light there, then there's like, there's 2 red lights, 2...
You're talking about down here, Mall Boulevard?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Make a condition to approve the large radio.
Nick, you have something?
I don't know.
Well, council, just for everybody's FYI, we can make that a condition of approval that that's where they start unloading in the new area.
Yeah, I
That
think
is certainly
I-
under your purview.
Just for safety reasons.
Yeah, we have recommended that as his engineer to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, you said there's a bridge connecting the...
Yes, there's a bridge here because there's an upward level expansion here that's going to be like a lobby for cars. So this area here, there's a lower level service bay that's extended and up above. As you come down, it's kind of steep in between sites there. As you come down, you'll spin out to the left and you'll or to the right, I'm sorry, and then just go right across a pretty level bridge to the second level of that building because it slopes this way.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions or comments, council?
Is it emergency vehicles going to be able to get back?
yes, yes. I believe, Paul, we did get you the truck turning?
Yes, I have 11 by 17 if you want to, I don't know if it would help
If
at
it'll
all.
show.
One of the improvements here, Ron, is that number one, actually you can come and access it via Minerva Boulevard instead of having to go down to Route 22. So they can go in basically where the Racket Club is now. So they could turn into the Racket Club. There's a quasi parking area that they sort of made themselves without any approval.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out.
That's true.
You know, they took it upon themselves to put some gravel down and put cars there. That's the area that they're improving.
Yes.
So there'll be a permanent access, so the fire department can come in off of Minerva Boulevard and access this instead of having...
Well, that's even better than
exit
That's
be at
better
the
than
red light?
722, so...
No, the exit will not be a direct exit.
So there will not be a left turn at that?
Yeah, there's a prohibited left turn there now.
No left turn at that exit, correct?
Yes, there's a sign there now.
I'm confused where it is.
Right by Boston Market?
Huh. Could you put the map back up and just go around the edges and tell me, I can't see, like, what's on the left there?
Right here?
All the way over, all the way over. What borders your property on the, yeah, there.
That's William Penn Highway at the A&L site. Okay, you turn in here, this is the front of the buildings, the Jaguar.
That's existing.
Yeah, this is existing. So this works its way up the hill,
Okay, I
and then
got
out Mall Boulevard. Monroeville Boulevard, what we looked at was the nearest fire station is up here, coming down Monroeville Boulevard, and they can turn in, and then they can go right through the site if they have to.
Kevin, point out where the Racket Club is.
Right here, Paul.
And where's that Boston Market? Is that up here?
Boston Market is here.
Right there, okay.
This is Chuck E. Cheese.
Gotcha.
You good, Ron?
Yeah. So you have to look at it as a tiered site. You have a lower level on 22 and an upper level of Minerva Boulevard.
That's correct.
That'll look nice.
Any other questions or comments, Council?
Will that area be paved up there, or will it be...
No, it'll be paved now. They took it upon themselves to stone.
Right, I
before.
understand that, yes.
Yes.
So they will pave that.
It'll be paved.
I like
And
how
with-
you're
with
handling
what type
it, Paul.
of material?
What's that?
With what type of material?
It's going to be an asphalt right there.
Asphalt, and we're also curbed
Okay.
as well. So
Okay.
it will be a nice
And
substantial
that'll
improvement.
comply with our stormwater issues, too?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Tim.
Yeah, under new business is the same A&L Motors applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval to consolidate tax parcels 638S12, 638S18, 639D95, and 639D99 into one lot. The proposed lot has total acreage of 4.354 acres. The properties being consolidated have frontage along Monroeville Boulevard in the C2 Business Commercial District.
If you would, Kevin.
Yes, absolutely.
Do a quick one.
Monroeville Boulevard, this is the one lot, lot number 1, 4.3 acres. We have one lot, two
Kevin.
lot, I'm sorry?
Kevin, hold on. Show them where Wingate Drive is.
Wingate Drive.
It's a traffic signal.
Oh, Wingate,
there.
yes,
Right
Wingate,
there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
So they know where you're at.
To locate, I keep thinking it's so close here that you guys would know this. Monroeville Boulevard, Wingate.
We do.
Did you just call us stupid? You just called us stupid.
Don't put me to that, Steve.
All right, so to answer Paul's question, we got Wingate Drive here, Monroeville Boulevard. Here's the access up by the old Racket Club. There's a couple lots, 1, 2 here. There's a third lot and this lot that will all be consolidated into one lot under the Lamfrom Family Limited Partnership, and that's what we're proposing here. We've been through planning, and it's just a pretty standard consolidation plan.
Did you shrink the size of this from when you first...
There were 2 lots. The lower lot is not in question anymore. It's owned, I believe, by A&L. This is Lamfrom Family Partnership, but it's sort of pseudo under the same name. It's
Okay.
just they kept the 2 separate entities, and that's how they decided to consolidate the plan.
Okay.
Any other questions? Planning Commission was okay?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim, if you would.
Okay, item number 2, Nicola Toto. Applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval of tax parcel 859J87 in the 2 lots. Proposed Lot 1 has a total lot acreage of 1.49 acres, and the remainder of the parent parcel has a total acreage of 8.21 acres. The address of the parent parcel is 2175 Grandview Avenue in the R2 Single Family Residential Zoning District.
Please state your name for the record, sir.
Nicola Toto.
All nothing.
I'm going to correct just one thing on that proposal. This property, I'm asking for the split on it. The acreage has changed just a bit, and that is because I didn't have enough.
Excuse me, Mr. Toto, could you speak into the microphone, please, sir?
Okay, and the
Thank
acreage
you.
has been changed so that I could have enough clearance for the property, the back end of the property, for a building.
What would be the changes, sir?
Okay, just the acreage has changed to 2.073 acres.
For the first lot?
That's, and the remaining acreage would be 7.622 acres.
And what are you going to do on this lot?
I'm just selling the home and that 2 acre
The 2.07 you're going to sell, and then the 7.62 is going to stay with nothing on it? Is that
Nothing
what you're
on
saying?
it. Nothing is on it, right, correct.
Where did the question of building come in?
There's a barn in the back corner. Let's see back here.
Can you move that paper over?
So you're not asking for an additional building?
No, I just extended the property so that I would have the 40-foot clearance to the property line from the back of the barn.
Maybe I could help on here.
Originally, it
Where's
was
the
short. I didn't have enough.
If you would.
What's the location again?
On Grandview.
2175 Grandview Avenue.
Oh, Grandview.
Mr. Toto had
Okay,
longer.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Toto has one lot about a little over 9.5 acres.
Yeah.
He's subdividing it into 2 parcels. The one parcel is going to remain with the house and the garage, and the other parcel is vacant.
And he's going to sell the home?
He's going to sell the vacant land.
You're going to
Okay,
sell the
very-
vacant land or the house land?
The house land.
The house land.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, he's just creating 2 lots out of one.
Right.
Any questions or comments on
There's
this?
no issues with anything?
I just have a question, Mayor. Mr. Toto, how long has the Toto family lived in that area, on that property?
I think since 1950,
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
I believe.
Been there a long time, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
my parents have.
yeah. Yeah.
Very good. I didn't mean to question you.
Oh, no problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Timothy, if you would, please.
Okay, the number 3 is Giant Eagle Incorporated, Get-Go. Applicant is requesting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 401.14 of the Monroeville zoning ordinance, number 1443, as amended, to permit construction of a gas station. The property is located at the intersection of Old William Penn Highway and Old Haymaker Road in the M1 Planning Industrial Zoning District, also known as Parcel 855P81. This is a public hearing due to it being a conditional use.
Mr. Ratcher, if you would, please.
Thank you. Bill, do you want to present your witnesses and swear them in?
Sure.
You gentlemen, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Yes, state your name for the record, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Bill Sittig, and I represent the applicant. As you indicated, we're here, the first matter of business is the conditional use request for a gas station in the M1 Planned Industrial District. And the other application, it's separate and doesn't require a public hearing, is the site plan, the land development approval. I think what you'll see and what happened with the Planning Commission, and this is largely going to be responses to the engineering letters, so it's going to have the feel largely of the land development site plan review. But just to set the tone, it is in the M1 district. Gas stations are permitted as conditional uses, and then the ordinance has the conditions. We believe, in terms of the criteria, they're pretty straightforward in 401.14, which is a lot of not less than 18,000 square feet, and we're well in excess of that. Our building itself is over 5,000 square feet. The side yard requirements are not less than 15 feet, and the separation of hazardous material storage tanks no closer than 50 feet. So we comply with those criteria, and not surprisingly, a lot of the issues surrounds the 401 conditional use criteria, and that is that mainly that the siting, orientation, landscaping, and relationship of the building does not impair the health, safety, welfare, and comfort or adversely affect values of adjacent property. And of course, with that goes the traffic conditions. The plan is here. If you have any specific questions, we'll be able to answer them, but I just wanted to lay out the basic structure is that we received an engineering review letter, Mr. Hugis's letter of September 29, 2017, really sets forth the conditions, and also HRG did an October 3rd review letter, and all of those conditions are satisfactory to Giant Eagle, and we can work through all of those. I want to point out a couple of those that we still need work on. One is the sidewalk. Planning Commission, and this is...
Bill, can you orient everybody so that they know the location and so forth?
Yeah, this is at the corner of Old Haymaker and Old William Penn, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. There's a 5,000 square feet plus convenience store. The pumps are here. There are going to be 14 dispensers. There are actually 7 stations. No truck diesel. There will be auto diesel. And the gas truck, the fueling, the only truck that will be here of any size, of course, will be the fueling truck, and we've done the turning templates to show that.
Excuse me, sir. The entrance to the site would be where?
We actually have 3 driveways on Old Haymaker. There will be, and this to orient you is across the street is the Cochrane facility, and this will be a full service left-in, right-left driveway. Further along toward the intersection on Old Haymaker is just a...
Can we have a left turn out of there?
That is a state road. We've had conversations with PennDOT, so it ultimately is their decision, but it's shown as a full access driveway at this point.
My question is access with the fuel trucks coming in to replenish the fuel that is being used. To have one of those large vehicles make a left turn out of there would be very dangerous, I believe.
We agree, and let me just finish the driveways, and then we'll explain how the fueling truck does. Again, just right in, right out toward the intersection. And then on Old William Penn, that is also a full access driveway.
Wait, the driveways, there's the one for the Parkway building now?
That's now...
Where is that in relationship to that other one you were showing?
It's actually, this is the one that I mentioned across from
That's the
Cochrane.
same one?
That's the
It
existing?
will.
That's the existing?
It's going to be relocated, so it'll be
Oh, the
combined.
full-
Yes,
okay.
be a combined driveway.
That's what I was trying to figure out. How were you going to have one here and then one right there? You know?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was going the other way, too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Parkway building, off the page here.
Yeah.
Joint driveway,
Okay.
full access onto Old Haymaker, right in, right out. Old William Penn School, full access driveway there.
Okay.
So, Ben, why don't you describe, Ben? Ben?
Ben.
Hey, Ben.
My name is Ben Landon.
Ben.
It'll come in off of Old Haymaker Road and then out towards Old William Penn Highway.
Ben, I can't hear you. Could you please speak into the
Yes, sir.
microphone, please?
The fuel truck will come in off of Old Haymaker Road and I believe out towards Old William Penn Highway. It will not go out the right in, right out entrance.
So it won't go out onto Old Haymaker, it won't use that intersection that you're worried
Well,
about.
what I'm concerned about is at peak traffic times, in the morning, let's say 7:30 in the morning, that traffic is back from the stop sign at Beatty Road, almost clear back to the red light on 48 and Old William Penn Highway. Going north on 48. However,
Control the deliveries, I think.
Pardon me?
Timing, they can probably control
No,
the timing
I'm
of
not
the
saying
delivery.
that. I'm talking about vehicles, regular cars coming in and out of the station, making a left turn out of there. And then at rush hour traffic, it's even worse.
But Tom, they already have an entrance right there right now for the Parkway building. They're just going to adjust the entrance. They're not
No,
opening a
I'm
new
not
one.
talking to you. I'm talking to him.
I know.
And he's the one that's the expert here, so I'll get the answer from him. Thanks.
Okay.
If you could, I'm not a traffic engineer. Mr. Wooster here, Chuck Wooster is here, and he'll be able to specifically address all of those questions on turning movements
Okay, thank you.
and congestion. So I was just laying out before we get to the civil engineers and the traffic engineer, that we're okay with all these conditions. There is an issue with the sidewalk just because of, this is along Old William Penn. Planning Commission was, we had only shown a sidewalk partly just at the driveway. Planning Commission wants that sidewalk extended all the way down. And we have two plans, two versions of that. One would require, this is a slope, and if we do just a 2-to-1 slope, we end up with a substantial retaining wall all along there. We also did a plan with a 1.5-to-1 slope, which would take a geotechnical review. So what we would ask council to do as part of the approval is to let Mr. Hugus determine. We'll work with him in whichever version we decide to do, but we understand that we need to connect that sidewalk. That sidewalk has to extend to the property line. The other thing that came up in Mr. Hugus' September 29 review letter was the addition of traffic signal equipment and signage improvements, and all of those are acceptable to Giant Eagle. The other thing that Mr. Hugus noted that needs to be a plan change, our plans originally showed there is a monument sign of sorts. Looks like it had been maybe a temporary that became permanent monument sign sort of at the corner here. We had shown it on the plan. That's going to be removed. We're not asking for any signage now. We're going to have to come in for those plans, and we just wanted to make clear, despite what our plans have said, that that sign, as of now, we're not seeking any approval, and it shows it basically in the detention pond, and it won't be in the detention pond. So we're going to have to work through signage separately, but it's not going to be there as shown incorrectly on the plan. The other issue that Mr. Meyer raised had to do with the offset of the Cochran driveway. It will not be directly across. There's a small offset, and I'm going to have Mr. Wooster address that and why we believe that's a workable and acceptable situation. So those are the four items that we expect as to address separately, and wanted to point out in our responses that we can do everything that was in there. We're going to need Mr. Hugus' cooperation on designing the sidewalk and finally approving that, and we need to have that minor offset driveway approved where it is. So,
I'm an advocate of the sidewalk, so we're going to line those up, right, Paul?
Yeah, they're ultimately attached to the sidewalk at the dialysis clinic. It terminates it there at this point, so they'll
Continue
come down.
on, there won't be any gaps or anything.
I don't think, I'm not 100% sure where the property line is at, but I believe it's at the end of that dialysis.
There's nothing worse than a sidewalk and then all of a sudden you get...
Yeah, I'd have to see a sidewalk out of, for nothing.
Yeah, so I'm a big advocate on joining these sidewalks, so if you're good with
So
that.
can we find out if this property is directly adjacent to the dialysis property? As we go down the hill, as we go down westward down...
I'll give you a final answer on Tuesday.
Great.
We'll find out for sure.
Okay.
we obviously are limited with property rights. We can't trespass on somebody else's property.
Right,
So all
exactly.
we're showing is we're going to the
No,
property.
no, we get that, but...
But the ultimate goal is for all of them to join.
Right. You're not closing down the other gas station down by the Giant Eagle itself, are you?
No.
No? That's going to save it as well?
That's right.
Okay, so, and someone's going to explain why we can't have the driveways across from each other?
Yeah, why don't we, Chuck, why don't you, in fact, if you could identify yourself, and if you could just give an overview, because there are some questions about the driveway access, the volume of traffic and trips, and how it's going to affect it, and then if we could finish with the offset, please.
Sure. Chuck Worcester from David E. Worcester and Associates, traffic consultant for this project. As far as access, and maybe to answer Mr. Wilson's question regarding operations, so the driveway that is currently serving Parkway Building is located right about here, I believe.
Is it across from Cochran's?
It's not
body
across.
shop?
It's kind of between the two driveways serving Cochran, and it comes out at an acute angle. It's going to be plussed up better to a 90-degree angle.
Further south than the original driveway that's in there?
It'll go further north. Or, I'm sorry, it will go south, according to the...
So
Yes.
so that'll be the main driveway, though, for access to the buildings, to the
That's correct.
magistrate's office, And the gas stations?
That's correct. Right, so, so it will move, to the, boy, I don't think it's getting north and south, according to...
It's moving north,
Correct.
Chuck.
It's moving north, that's correct. It's moving north, yes.
Moving north.
So is it moving
Yeah.
down the hill?
Is it moving down the hill or up the hill?
Up the hill. It's
Move
moving
on left or right?
towards Seco. It's moving
Pardon me?
towards Seco.
Okay, so
That's
that's...
correct.
That's what,
Okay.
okay, that's what
But
we're
it
trying to
will,
figure out.
right,
Going down that
but it
road.
will not reach all the way to the number 1 Cochrane.
That's okay, no, I was
Second
just trying to get
entrance,
a
second entrance of number
That's
1.
correct.
location.
So, with regard to the capacity, we recognize that traffic congestion along Old Haymaker is caused primarily by the stop signs at Beatty. So during certain peak hour conditions, you have a pretty saturated condition. We recognize that, your traffic consultant also recognized that, the department recognized that. Essentially what our answer is there's during the majority of the day, there's not an issue turning left out of
Well,
most of these
there
driveways.
is an issue because there's a lane that merges in, it merges left
Correct.
after they pass through the red light.
Correct.
So now
And
that creates
we're
another
eliminating.
issue.
No, we're eliminating that. That was
You're going to
brought up.
eliminate what?
We're eliminating that merge from the traffic signal. From the traffic signal at Old William Penn and Old Haymaker. Right now, as you're traveling northbound from 22 and you're at the traffic signal, there is a left turn lane to turn left on Old William Penn.
Right.
There are 2 through lanes. I'll call it a through lane and then a combination through
And a
right
merge.
lane. We're modifying that to eliminate that merge that has been problematic and a concern. We're taking the curb lane, which is now a through right lane, and making it a right turn only lane. So it'll be a left turn lane, a through lane, single through lane, and a right turn lane. So all traffic going northbound on Old Haymaker will be in a single lane and not have to merge. Because there is a significant pavement there, we're actually going to utilize that pavement, restripe it to create the northbound left turn lane, so that we'll actually have a northbound left turn lane to turn into the combined driveway. That's
Turn
correct.
into the gas station.
That's correct.
So you're actually increasing the capacity of the
Right.
lane? That's a good thing.
Right.
That's a great thing. That has
Yeah.
been a mess.
I like it.
That was
My
brought
mother
up.
will love you just to hear that.
That was brought up
I
to
can
us
see-
early
I
on
like it.
by Monroe. We were certainly aware of it,
I like the lane.
and it was discussed at our scoping
Yeah.
meeting.
I
So
like getting rid of
Instead
that
of
merging in
Yeah,
thing,
right.
that
That's another
people
one.
race each other to try,
I thought,
like, are you
brilliant
kidding me?
ideas.
Where are you going?
that's exactly what we'd heard.
Oh,
So we're going to modify that and then use that pavement to create a turn lane.
Okay.
With regard to getting out, we understand the difficulty of making left turns out during certain peak hours. The one thing we recognize and that we demonstrated to the department was, with this site, unlike some of the other driveways that are there, we have an option. So if you want to go north on Old Haymaker Road, you can always go out to Old William Penn and make a series of rights and end up in the exact same location. So why would you wait to turn left when you can make a couple of rights and be in the same location?
So you're going to have an exit on Old William Penn then?
That's correct.
Oh,
It's
that's
right here.
perfect, yeah.
Yes. So by allowing that option, we have, yes, sir.
When you make the exit onto Old William Penn, that'll strictly be a right turn only, correct?
No, it's full access.
Wrong. Can't make a left turn there. Traffic is terrible there. I do it every day. I make the left turn off of 48 to get down there.
Okay.
You can't let it be a left turn. I will fight that tooth and nail. So you might as well start figuring a way to fix it.
That is a county road, correct?
No, sir, that's your road.
That's
That's
a county road, Old William Penn Highway.
No.
Old William Penn is a
yours.
municipal road.
It's the William Penn. Now, you told me it was a state road.
No, Old Haymaker's a state road.
No, a long time ago, you told me
No,
it
no.
was a state road. Yes, you did.
No, Old William Penn is a municipal road.
Yeah. So let's fix that. I'm all for it.
With all due respect, our levels of service based on our counts, we don't have poor levels of service. There's much
don't have
more
what?
volume. we don't have a level of service problem or difficulty
I do.
with an egress.
I do.
I understand.
Whether you have it or not, I have.
We simply have traffic standards we have to meet, and I can
I'm
tell
going
you...
to fight it.
That's your prerogative.
And I'm going to say no to the opening of the gas station. Because let's say you're going to have 16 pumps there, right? 16 pumps. 14 pumps. All right. What's the average of the usage of 14 pumps on a daily basis?
What is the total trip generation to the site? Is that what you're asking?
What is the average usage of the 14 pumps on a daily basis?
I don't know.
Well, you should know that.
No, sir, I shouldn't. I know the trip
You
generation
should know
to the
that
site.
because it's going to tell you how much traffic is there. Hold on, I'm not done.
No. It's my
You
witness.
need to know
No,
that.
it's our witness.
I
It's my
need to
witness.
know that.
No. Let him answer the question. It
He's not
isn't,
answering the way I want him to answer.
well, because
He
you're not
doesn't have
asking.
the answer.
No, he did, no, he answered it correctly. It's not separated between the
Not
pumps.
for me, he has not answered it correctly.
Well,
Well, we can let the record show that he gave you an answer that you think is incorrect, but what he's saying is we get to ask the questions, they get to answer the questions.
Oh, I would rather talk to
traffic-
him rather than you.
the
so
traffic has to do.
Let him speak for himself.
The traffic has to do with the pumps and the store. So it's an entire site. It's not limited to the pumps. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Right,
You're
and I'm trying
focusing
to
on the
tell you the
pumps.
left turn out of there is wrong.
But it's joint, it's all trips to the entire site because you have the convenience store and the pumps. So Mr. Wooster can tell you, you were focusing on the pumps. It's not a separate piece. It's an entire development. So, Chuck, would you please describe how you measured the trips to and from the entire site?
But Bill, may I interrupt? Paul, was this approved by Planning Commission or not, this project?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Trip generation for the site, 2,280 vehicles in a 24-hour day coming and going. So that's 1,140 entering, 1,140 exiting for the entire site.
Yeah. And also, how many people stop in there to grab a sandwich, to grab a cup of coffee, to grab
That is
something
part of
during
it.
the day?
Right.
That's- that's
More than the
inclusive.
pumps.
That's
More than the
inclusive in
pumps,
that
and that's why I wanted to give you the whole number.
So you have, would you say 2,200?
2,280.
Okay. So almost
Total
3,000, or almost 2,300 vehicles daily, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So what do you think that's going to add to that whole corridor right there as far as traffic?
We've measured that, we've quantified it, we've provided it in a report for your traffic consultant for the Department of Transportation. The levels of service to Old William Penn Highway are more than adequate. Currently, you're saying you can't turn left out of there? The elementary school turns left out of there. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying.
There's one or two. If
Okay.
you turn left out of there, somebody's making a left turn from 48 to go down Old William Penn Highway, crash.
We can agree to disagree.
Well, I'm going to completely disagree with you. No left turn.
Chuck, maybe you should point out where the access is on Old William Penn so he understands.
The access is directly opposite the driveway to the school.
Where the school driveway is.
Where the school driveway
Right,
is, directly
right.
opposite.
Right.
That's correct.
Right. So now you have traffic coming off 48. They make the left turn, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you have traffic coming up the road, coming up going east on Old William Penn Highway, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Then you have somebody coming out of the school making a left turn, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now you have somebody coming out of the service or the gas station making a left turn. So all of a sudden, what do you have there?
Well,
You have a
the
mix-up.
No, you have the normal right-of-way rule in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You have operation on Old William Penn being controlled, particularly in the westbound direction, by a traffic signal. So it doesn't move constantly. You have to wait at a traffic signal. When you were on
Well,
48,
certainly, and that stacks
you
up.
had to wait at a traffic signal before you turned left.
I think what he's worried about is the stacking at, when you make a left onto Old William Penn at the intersection there. He's worried about that stacking at the light. Am I correct?
Yes, and then you also have traffic going westbound on Old William Penn coming from the east side.
I don't know that that's an issue, but...
Right. I understand.
Too much traffic.
I understand what he's saying.
Go out the
I
other exit
simply...
and go right.
Right.
Pardon me?
Go out the other exit and go right. You know,
Yeah,
it's the
you
same
could
light.
go right up to 48.
Correct.
You know,
or-
I mean, there's other
so
ways to
there's
get out of there,
multiple
the traffic's
exits.
backing up.
Right.
Yeah, well, but I'm talking...
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, because I have it in my little bit of a mind that I have.
So,
Continue.
to the point with Mr. Meyer's letter, we got that, I believe, yesterday, and he had a concern relative to the offset nature of our proposed driveway location opposite the existing driveway serving the number 1 Cochrane collision facility. We are indeed moving it to the north, closer. It is approximately 150 feet right now from the existing driveway serving Parkway is about 150 feet from that driveway. We're going to be moving it to approximately 80 feet. Mr. Meyer's concern, and rightfully so, was are we going to create a left turn conflict? He had asked for some additional information. We've provided that information. The first is we did perform counts at the driveway to the Cochrane facility to determine how much traffic they generate during the peak hours. In the evening peak street traffic hour, their peak volume turning left out of their driveway was 28 cars. I think they had 5 or 6 turning right. In the morning, it was inconsequential.
Excuse me, what time of the day is that?
The peak hour between 4 and 6, 1 hour. The highest concentration of traffic between 4 and 6 in a 1 hour period.
In the evening? How about in the morning?
In the morning, they had almost no traffic exiting their driveway. They had four vehicles, I think, turning right and turning left.
I'm talking about the traffic going north on 48 down to...
That's not what I'm talking about. We were asked to count the traffic volume exiting the collision center driveway to see how that would conflict with our left turns. Your traffic consultant was concerned about the offset. If you offset an intersection in one particular way, left turns in either can be impacted or left turns out. So he was concerned with the left turns out of both of the driveways conflicting with one another. If they had a very high volume, we had a very high volume that would conflict. They don't have a very high volume. We actually don't have a very high volume. All less than a car a minute turning left. Secondly, we looked at a turning path comparison to run design passenger vehicles out of both turns to make sure that they don't conflict when they make their own turns. The fact that we're putting in this Gore area to shadow the northbound left turn lane is also an assist because that creates a better offset for them. We've prepared a graphic and provided the graphic to Mr. Meyer.
You're saying a left turn off of 48 North
Correct.
into this gas
Correct.
station. I understand. You're going to put a separate lane in for that, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, I think that's reasonable.
Lastly, he was asking for justification as to why that driveway could not be aligned. The primary reason is that trying to move that driveway to the north, this driveway to the north, would eliminate a great deal of parking for the existing Parkway building, making it almost unworkable. That was not acceptable to the owner of that building. That does create an issue. So we looked at, again, the volumes to make sure that they wouldn't conflict. Lastly, there was a slight disagreement relative to the ordinance that was cited. Your ordinance requires that streets be offset 150 feet, but this is indeed a driveway, and you have a separate driveway section that says you have to be 20 feet from an intersection. So we do conform to the ordinance.
On 48 North from Haymaker Road, red light, going north at peak times?
Yes, sir.
And what was the volume of traffic then?
What volume are you looking for? The northbound volume in 1 hour, in a day, or?
Well, I'm talking from the a.m., from 7 a.m. until, let's say, 8 a.m.
I'll tell you what the morning peak hour is because it's going to be easier for me to find it. Maybe not. No, it will be. Morning peak hour volumes northbound at the existing Parkway building driveway. Morning was 689 through, and 22 left turning into the driveway.
What was the left, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
22 lefts in the morning.
22 turned left into the driveway.
That's correct.
Yeah, and there was 600, total of 689 vehicles?
No, 689 were going through. Total of 711 vehicles.
711 vehicles.
That's
total,
correct.
counting the ones that turned in.
Correct.
Right. Now, what period of time is that?
That's the morning peak street traffic
Okay,
hour.
now, do you expect somebody to be able to make a left turn out of there
Yes.
in the morning?
Yes.
They can't even make a left turn to go into Seco Road. Coming up, going south on it. It backs up traffic.
The volumes into Seco Road are triple that in the morning peak hour. There's 72 trying to turn left in, not 22.
So that backs up traffic going south. So you have traffic backed up going south, you have traffic backed up going north. So you have an issue there.
We've acknowledged that you have a lot of traffic volume on Old Haymaker Road, and the traffic queues are caused
It's an
primarily.
older road also, it's a 2-lane, and
what's coming in
I do understand, it's in his ward, and he has concerns with that intersection, but
I think you need to look at it further, especially the left turns. I'm against left turns.
I understand.
Thank you.
What's next, gentlemen?
That's really it. We can go through the site, the civil, stormwater, any questions you have. I don't know that we need to.
Can we go one more thing while Chuck's at the podium? Not that he didn't have enough questions. Could you continue with the improvements on William Penn, the drop-off right turn lane and the left turn lanes?
Correct. On Old William Penn Highway, traveling westbound, we're going to have a right turn drop lane, auxiliary right turn lane to turn into the site. In the eastbound direction, we're providing, right now it's a shadow island that's opposite the existing left turn lane that goes into the school.
Yeah.
That'll be modified to create a left turn lane that will also then turn into the
So that
proposed
median's going to
driveway.
go away?
The median will stay, it's going to be revised to create the turn lanes.
Okay, so you're going to actually create more than one turn lane, one on this side, one on that side?
Correct.
Eliminate that?
it's a total
Virgin.
improvement.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's major. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Paul, is there anything else that the applicant needs to address?
I mean, we have some minor details that Bill and I have discussed.
Okay, nothing you need to hear from
It is.
these witnesses?
No, and Chuck's going to supply us with some more information about Old Haymaker Road, but at the end of the day, it's a PennDOT road, and, you know, they're the one that's issued the permit.
Okay, counsel, do you have any more questions?
I just have one more very briefly. We talked about the sidewalks earlier. Could you just outline on the map where the proposed sidewalks are? I understand we have some questions about closer to the dialysis clinic, but I just didn't know where they were elsewhere on the map.
Good evening, my name is John Heil. I'm with Lennon Smith Engineering. Sidewalks. So, proposed sidewalks along Haymaker Road will come all the way along the entire frontage. There's an existing sidewalk in this area here at the intersection. We're going to continue the sidewalk with crosswalks across our driveway. Well, the sidewalk that comes up onto the site. Then we're going to have the sidewalk that comes down Old William Penn to the limit of the parcel that...
Yes, towards the dialysis center. So it's going to go the
Will
entire way around.
they connect?
He just said they don't know.
I didn't hear.
They better.
We hope.
He said he's going to check.
Can't build on somebody else's property.
That's right.
Any other questions, counsel? Tim, you have anything?
No.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Are there any interested parties in the audience who would like to ask a question or make a comment? Seeing none, we will let the record show that nobody came forward, and we will have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
Okay, Greg.
Tim?
Okay, item number 4 is the same development. Applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct 5,280 square feet gas station and associated site amenities. The property is located at the intersection of Old William Penn Highway and Old Haymaker Road in the N1 Planning Industrial Zoning District, also known as tax parcel 855P-81.
I think you've already covered most of the issues.
Yes.
And there's been an
Yeah, I
opportunity for
also
questions.
concur that
I was just going to say that
Ask
before
one
Bob
quick
did.
question. Will the building look like all the other Gecko gas stations, and are you at any time looking forward into liquor licenses for selling beer and wine like the Chiefs are doing?
I'd answer the last one first. Yes, there is an intention to do the liquor license. Obviously, have to meet those requirements, and it's just the fact that they can't remain competitive with their competitors. It's just a way of life.
Is this store going to be built big enough to be able to accommodate that when it happens? Because I see all the sheets are kind of getting ripped down and rebuilt so that they can accommodate.
Yeah, the idea is this store, the bigger Speedway versions are in the 4,300 square foot range, so this is about 1,000 square feet bigger, so this is bigger than, and that's the current increased Speedway size, so this will be bigger than that.
Okay, so basically that is the long-term goal for the Get-Go's, is to be able to do the liquor license.
It's actually a short-term goal. It's going to be at opening. Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. And
So that answers that question.
yeah, we fully understand the proximity of the school. Get-Go and Giant Eagle are familiar with dealing with that issue. They have liquor licenses throughout all of their stores, so we expect to be a good community partner.
For us anyway.
Yeah, the proximity to the
building
school would
be
definitely have
like
to
all
come
of
into
the other
consideration.
Yeah. This actually, I don't know which ones you're referring to. This actually is a little different look than most. It's the current version.
Well,
It's actually, it's almost all masonry building. So,
for the record, my name is Pat Avolia, Director of Real Estate Development for Giant Eagle. It's not similar to all of the other Geckos. We have one in the neighborhood of the area that we built recently in Verona.
Joe, you want to put the eye on that, please?
You can see it.
There we go.
Joe's sleeping.
You got him upside down.
Got him upside down.
Pat, turn it around. There we go.
We're good, not that good.
Okay.
So this is very similar that along Allegheny River Boulevard location we opened in Verona late last fall, early winter. It's a combination of pattern white tannish brick, stone elements itself, an accent band of ground face, gemstone silver block at the bottom, a sill, decorative bollards. That's basically the architecture, but the easiest thing to say is if you're, ability to get to Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona, you'll actually be able to see the building itself. We can supply a photograph.
So this is your new design then?
This is a new design, so we only have one in anywhere in the area right now, which is this one. We're also building one, but it's not available to see at
Maybe you
Edgewood.
could bring us a blown-up picture for Tuesday, just so we can visually see what you're talking about, since you
Okay.
say there is one.
Yes, yes.
I have a broken foot, I can't drive.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's easy.
Just being honest, but I'd like to see what your new building looks like that we're going to have, because that's a very visual spot right there, and as you say, there's a lot of traffic that comes by, so I really want to make sure it's nice looking.
Correct. And we'll have outdoor seating tables that are indicated on a site plan, as well as bike racks that we provide along the front, and some decorative bollards as well as some of the more traditional bollards, because we want to provide for the safety of the folks that are sitting and/or the pedestrians on the walk itself.
Any other questions or comments, Council?
Nope. Thank you.
Gentlemen,
Thank
have a
you.
great evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
See you on Tuesday.
Timothy, motion.
Okay, we have one motion, a motion to open an investment reserve fund for 2018, beginning in January of 2018. This would be to put what we have, as council knows, we have a 10% fund balance reserve policy, and this money would go into this fund with Huntington Bank at a higher rate. We have money in there right now at a 1.1% rate, but I'd like to have this passed under motion to have this investment reserve fund so we could take it actually out of the general fund and put it in there. And I'll discuss it a little bit further in the budget message on Tuesday.
Tim, what you're recommending here is to invest what we have in the reserve fund into what?
They have, Huntington Bank has what's called, they call it, their brand name, it's called a Max Fund, okay? And that's, it's getting 1.1% right now, which is a decent rate, not relatively speaking over the last
And why did you choose Huntington Bank? Why didn't you do an RFP to use
Well, we
other
could look
banks?
at other firms, but 1.1 seems to be a decent rate. I could look at other firms.
I would recommend we do that.
Sure.
Because in the past, Huntington Bank hasn't been our friend.
Any other questions from council?
Okay, resolutions there. Timothy, please.
Okay, one resolution authorizing the distribution of the 2017 and General Municipal Pension System aid pursuant to the Municipal Pension Plan Act Act 205 of 1984. If council looks at the pink sheet, this distributes, we received $835,062.11 as our share of state aid for the pension plans, and the total for the non-uniform is approximately $426,000 that's distributed of the $835. That's not the total of what's owed for the non-uniform, and for the police pension of that is approximately $408,000. The total for the non-uniform plan is $1,216,477, and for the police pension plan is $2,157,350, which is approximately $3.3 million that we will be putting into the pension plans before the end of the month. Okay.
Questions or comments, council? Seeing none, we'll move over to ordinance, and Robert, if you would, please.
We have one ordinance, an ordinance amending Table 201 of Ordinance 1443 to eliminate oil and gas wells as a conditional use from every zoning district in the municipality except the M2 Industrial Zoning District. This is the ordinance amendment that we've previously discussed, and the purpose of this is a stopgap measure until we adopt the more comprehensive oil and gas ordinance. So that'll be up for your action on Tuesday night.
Questions or comments, council? Thank you. We'll move over to reports of our municipal staff. And Bob, you're up first.
I have two items. The first item is a request from Pitcairn Borough Council. They are involved, and Paul, you can help me out here if I stumble. They're involved in a project to clean out Dirty Camp Run to prevent flooding. In connection with that effort, there is a property that comes down. It's a cliff. If you get down Wall Avenue, and you know where the Service Master building is, this is behind the Service Master building. You have the creek, and then you have basically what's a sheer cliff. Well, that cliff and the creek bed are owned by the three taxing bodies, probably because somebody abandoned it years ago, and we got it because of taxes. So Pitcairn is requesting that the three taxing bodies, being Allegheny County, the Gateway School District, and the municipality of Monroeville, enter into an agreement to give them a temporary easement and a permanent easement so they can go in there and make the improvements to the stream and the flood control project, which they will subsequently maintain. So that is up for your consideration on Tuesday night. Any questions on that issue? And then a second issue that's not listed that just came in this afternoon. Apparently in Westmoreland County, Unity Township, which is up east of Greensburg, had a fire that destroyed all their public works equipment. They've ordered new equipment, but a number of municipalities around the area are helping them by lending them pieces of equipment until such time as their new equipment that they've already ordered comes in. So there is we're going to be seeking authorization to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with them. I understand that there's a piece of equipment that our public works are going to lend to them for a 6 or 8 week period until they get their equipment. I don't know what it is or anything like that. We'll have that information for you on
It's a truck.
Okay.
I mean, what kind of truck, I don't know. but it's a...
So a dump truck or a...
So, yeah, and it's a, you know, sort of like a lend-lease agreement, and obviously, you know, they'll maintain it and insure it and all that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And then as soon as their equipment comes in, we get it back.
I absolutely don't see an issue with that, as long as it doesn't take away from our fleet for our snow removal.
And I think that's something that Tim can talk to
Yeah,
Mike
I'm
Adams
sure
about. And-
Tim's already
have
got that worked
information on
out.
Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tim, well, hang on a minute here. Paul, anything for us here, bud?
No, sir.
Josie, anything for us?
Nothing.
All righty. Tim, you're up.
Okay, as I mentioned on Tuesday at the council meeting, I'll be presenting the 2018 budget. Number two, this past Saturday, we had the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the trail, which goes through Murraysville, Monroeville, and down to Trafford. And Joe, do you want to, there we go. We have some pictures that Joe took, and here comes Mr. Estock, and I think that's his daughter, I think, with him.
Is he
coming
being
down,
chased by the police?
I agree.
coming across down in Saunders Stations. There's another gentleman there, I don't know who that is. And that is part of the trail right there in Monroeville, coming off of, and this is a Cub Scout pack that is putting up a sign there. This is part of, one of those gentlemen there, this is his Eagle Scout project that he is doing. Okay. Representative Markozik was there, and there's Mr. Wilson there in the background.
Was he riding a bike?
Yeah, I don't know, were you riding a bike, Tom?
I was trying, I couldn't do it.
You were trying.
I couldn't remember how to do it.
We gave the proclamation from the mayor. The mayor had a family commitment, couldn't be there, so I read a proclamation from Mr. Noel Grimm. And Mr. Noel Grimm, if people don't know him, he was involved in the trail committee in Monroeville for decades. Not only years, but for decades. Any more pictures there, Joe? There we go, the ribbon cutting itself. Okay, Mr. Wilson and me, Mr. Grimm and Mr. Markozik, and I believe that's Mr. Ray Peduzzi, former mayor of Trafford on the left there. Okay. Okay, thanks, Joe, thanks. Okay, next item on the agenda is kindness rocks. There is a fad or a movement, I guess I should say, sweeping across the country, and our Senior Citizen Center has gotten into the act of the Kindness Rock Project. And what it is Joe has shown you a picture of the Kindness Rocks, and on the back of the Kindness... Do you have a picture of the back of the Kindness Rocks, Joe?
No, Tim, I don't.
Okay, on it says, find us on Facebook. And if you find a Kindness Rock, you're supposed to go onto the Facebook page of the Monroeville Senior Citizen Center and mention about where you found it and where you're taking it to. We have a rock, my understanding, from Tara Griesach, our director of the Senior Citizen Center. We have a rock that's now in Ireland, and we will have one in St. Louis very shortly, because I gave one to my wife, and she's giving it to somebody else. It'll be in St. Louis tomorrow. And where else do we have one, Nick? You know where we have it?
Multiple places throughout Pennsylvania. Some of the beaches, I believe Myrtle Beach, Rehoboth Beach.
I'll
But
send
they are
mine
spreading
down to
around.
Florida. My parents are leaving, so...
This will go to Connecticut.
Hansel has received the Kindness Rock at their stations here this evening. And there's three goals to the Kindness Rock. One is to inspire others. Goal number 2 is to recruit everyone who stumbles upon a rock to join the pursuit of inspiring others through small acts of kindness. And goal number 3 is to promote community togetherness within Monroeville. So I think it's a worthwhile effort. If you find a Kindness Rock at the park, on Old William Penn Highway or any place else, take it and pass it along, kind of like the movie Paying It Forward. Okay?
I got to say something about the Kindness Rock.
Okay.
Come on, Steve, tell us.
I was at Indian Lake. It's like a walking trail, and I was there fishing with my daughter, and my grandkids were there, and we found this rock, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. Keep it. And they're like, no, Pap, you got to put it back out and let somebody else find it. I mean, it was amazing. And that was the first I've heard of it, about 3 months ago, I'd want to say.
I just found out a couple last week.
Up at Indian Lake. Yeah, well, I had to say that.
And you can Google Kindness Rocks and find out about it. I think it was started in California, as all things usually are of this nature. Okay, I have a couple of things that are not on my agenda. One is we're having a recycling event this Saturday, and it is from 9 a.m., I believe, till 2 p.m. There you go, Joe. If I have the time, I just want to make sure I have the time correct.
Yeah, they found it.
Up there, is that 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
I can't see it.
Yeah, I think it is. 9, what is it, 9 to 1? I can't see that. Is it 9 to 1, I'm sorry, 9 to 1. Okay, it is similar to, in fact, it's exactly the same as the recycling events that we've had in the past for electronic, and they're per pound for electronic and also for hazardous waste, anything that has mercury in it. So that's available to the public. And Churchill is also having one, but I do not know the date of when Churchill is having one. The same company, ECS&R. Okay? One other item that I do not have on my agenda is that this coming election on November the 7th, you're going to have, when you walk into your voting poll, you're going to have 4 referendum questions that are going to be revising the Home Rule Charter here in Monroeville. And the Home Rule Charter Committee, which was chaired by Mr. Dave Cooker, these are the first of a series of questions that will probably be for the next 2-3 years that will be showing on the ballot as a referendum. And I'm just going to go through very quickly here and explain a little bit about the questions that will be there. There's going to be 4 questions. The first question has to do with the manager and the acting manager. The second question has to do with the solicitor. The third question has to do with the Human Resources Department. And the fourth question has to do with the police force. Basically, question number 1 on the manager and acting manager, it's just going to have a change so it reflects to the revisions that happened in 2012 to the Borough Code. Right now, our Home Rule Charter is not congruent with the Borough Code, and all it's going to do is make that congruent. Also, what it does with those 2 positions, it increases the work experience requirements and also the education. Also contained within that, in our Home Rule Charter, department heads are called administrative units, and we just want to change that to call them department heads, very simply. Okay? Question number 2 is about the solicitor. Right now, the solicitor in the Home Rule Charter is an employee, and I am not aware, except for large cities like the city of Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or maybe Scranton or Erie, you do not have an in-house attorney. Most of the time, it's a contracted-out attorney. And all that question is basically to vote yes or no to make that person either an employee or a contracted out, which 99.9% of solicitors in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are. Number 3 is concerning the Human Resources Department. Right now, our Home Rule Charter talks about collecting social data and developing social programs and funding those programs. And it's beyond me why 40 years ago that got into the Home Rule Charter like it did. That is for bigger agencies like Allegheny County in the state to do those under Health and Human Services. We don't do that here in Monroeville. So basically that is going to be changed to what a basic Human Resources Department, which Joe Sedlak heads up, what he does, dealing with labor contracts, insurances, insurance claims, and the employee handbook, things of that nature that a Human Resource Department does. The last question has to deal with the police force. And the Home Rule Charter does not follow the civil service law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. and there was a grievance filed by the police department approximately 10 years ago that found in favor of the police, as it rightfully should have. But it's not reflected in the Home Rule Charter. And that question basically talks about hiring and promoting will be done under the Borough Code Civil Service Law, which it should be. Also under that, the chief and deputy chief will have, just like the manager and acting manager position, will have increased experience and education under Act 120 certification. There isn't any, every police officer in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has to have Act 120 certification. They call it MOPATEC as an acronym. We don't have that in our Home Rule Charter. It's kind of common sense that it should be in there. And also, the two positions of chief and deputy chief will have civil service protection as the regular police force does. The other provisions under the police force is we have a provision in there for a special school police. The question on that will be abolished because it is not required. There is no need for that. Anything that a special school police does, our regular police force would do. And even now that the school police, the school district has their own police force, they would do. But in this case, it's our own police department that would do under that provision. Also, we have clarification on two items, which is special police, which these both come under the mayor. The special police and auxiliary police. The special police would be in dire emergency situations. If you had some type of calamity that happened, like a major hazmat spill on Route 22.
Building collapse.
A building collapse, something like that, where we would need our police force, more people that would be deputized by the mayor and would be appointed by the mayor under the supervision of the chief of police. Also, the auxiliary police, and there are certain communities in the Commonwealth that have auxiliary police that help the police in times of, if you would have, for instance, a calamity, that they would help with traffic control and things of that nature. And again, that would be under the supervision and direction and also the training of the chief of police, but under the Borough Code, both of these are appointed by the mayor. So those are the questions that are going to be on the ballot of the Home Rule Charter. Now, when you come into the voting booth, there'll be a placard there that will be provided by the Bureau of Elections of Allegheny County. And it will explain in hopefully a simple format each of these four questions. I'm going to put a public service announcement in a newspaper that will explain them in a very succinct manner about what they're dealing with. And you're just voting basically a yes or no on these provisions. So if anybody has any questions, Mr. Cooker, would you like to say anything?
Oh, come on.
Shoot. I think I got the floor for what? Since there is no time limit, I have an hour that I can speak. Is that correct?
You got about 30 seconds, and I'm going to gavel.
Put the clock on.
Started.
Somebody put the clock on.
I got the clock on.
Go.
Hi, Dave.
I do want to thank council for going forward.
Well, who are you, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm David Cooker. I'm a Monroeville resident, and I chaired the Home Rule Charter Review Board Committee, Review Board. And we came up with some of these, in fact, we came up with all these recommendations thanks to all the committee members and the employees and the research that we did. And we were able to, and obviously they were, the amendment, or the proposed amendments, were to correct some of the mistakes and other items that, I don't want to get into it, but they need correcting because some of these problems are happening more than once. And when it's happening more than once, it's time to fix the problem. And that was some of the thinking that we had going into this Home Rule Charter and looking for amendments. Plus, we wanted to upgrade some of the provisions, which were upgraded based on the General Assembly.
I was going to say, these first four, David, am I not correct, are just basically meeting the Borough Code.
Well, it's more than that. Mr. Ratcher was able to provide some information regarding the special police and the auxiliary police. There's now requirements in there to appoint them. If memory serves me correctly, there was only like 1 or 2 sentences.
That's correct.
For those. And, okay, well, so what does that mean?
Correct.
So now we have it specified as to the qualifications of these.
But again, that's getting up with the law.
Yes, a lot of this stuff was proposed because of the update in the law.
All right, I'm getting ready to gavel you now. Oh.
Hit it, swing it.
I do want to thank thank Mr. Little. That was a great summary of the questions. I'd like to thank the Law Department for Allegheny County. Mr. Ratcher, if you could send a message to those folks, I thought they did a great job putting those questions together. We gave them a lot. I'm sure what they did was they saw the report because it was apparent, it was self-evident that they were wording these questions based on the report. So that's all I have. Just tell them thanks. Again, I appreciate
David,
what council did.
Obviously, your committee and you, Bob, did a great job. Thank you all.
Oh, well, let's hope the residents approve them.
Well, that's the goal.
So anyway, get out and vote.
Amen.
Okay,
That's all I had.
Okay, the last thing under my report is recycling video. About 2 years ago, if the public remembers and council knows, I applied for a $250,000 grant for a new recycling truck, for a compressible recycling truck so we can collect newsprint and cardboard at curbside. Well, part of that grant is a match, and part of that match is we have to do public outreach into the community, education with flyers and different things. So myself and the staff and Joe Habala, I come up with the idea of doing a video. And we used part of the match, the money, to do a video, and we just completed the video with the help of Beard Productions and Andrew Beard, who did a great job. So if you want to bring that up, Joe.
It's the world premiere.
Yep. Want to know your popcorn?
I just want to read this. Americans recycle enough plastic bottles in 2015 to provide raw material needed to produce 7 million extra-large T-shirts. Go ahead, Joe. Run the video. Have you ever wondered where your recyclables go when you put them into your blue Monroeville recycling container? My name is Tim Little, and I'm the municipal manager here in Monroeville. Well, I got a friend by the name of Willie, and Willie's going to show you just that. He's going to show you where your recyclables go once they leave the curb in front of your house.
I need another bottle of water.
He looks familiar.
Steve, stop it.
Hi, I'm Willie, and I want you to know how you can help my friends and I after we help you. We need to go in special Monroeville recycling bins. I'll show you why, too. But let's wait until after she places me in the special bin. Must be recycling day. Be sure to check your recycling calendar for your day. Here we go! Here, we're at the recycling center on Neville Island. Easy does it. Did you ever think there were so many recycling products? This is where I go. This is a quality check to make sure my friends and I end up where we're supposed to go. Boy, it sure is tight in here with the rest of my friends.
Hi, I'm Rick Atwood, and I'm part of Monroeville's recycling crew. Hi, I'm Spencer Jordan. I'm part of the Monroeville recycling crew, too, and we want you to recycle.
Wow, Star is born. So you met the grant.
I have 10 videos of this.
So we'll be running that on TV 15 for the next who knows how long.
That's cute.
And that concludes my report.
Amen. Linda?
The first thing I'm going to do is wish my husband a happy anniversary. I love you more every day. So, as always, a reminder to our residents, if you have a light pull-out with Duquesne Light, let us know. We pay for those lights every month, whether they're on or they're not. So please let us know. This Saturday is the $500 jackpot bingo over at our senior center. The games start at 1 p.m. Mark your calendars for the 7th Halloween Monster Bash at the senior center. This will occur on Thursday, October 26th at 12 p.m. The lunch menu includes a baked potato bar with all the fixings, a salad bar, spooky desserts, and refreshments. There will be games, costume contests, musical entertainment. Everyone is sure to have a great time. Cost is $6 a person. Deadline to purchase your tickets is Monday, October 23rd. Don't wait because they always sell out. And the Senior Center is announcing the return of the Pit-Sell cookie sale. $6 a dozen. The flavors are lemon, orange, or coconut. Place the orders up until November 22nd. Pick up your orders on Friday, December 8th. And lastly, a reminder, Election Day is Tuesday, November 7th. Please use your given right to vote. I hope to see everyone out and about then, and thank you.
Yes, Mayor. Just to clarify, there were some comments this evening, and then we spoke about the ordinance we'll be passing for the conditional use for oil and gas. Once again, as Mr. Ratcher said, we will be working on a comprehensive ordinance for oil and gas drilling, but what we're passing, hopefully passing on Tuesday, is a temporary fix to tighten up our current ordinance until we can actually get the comprehensive one going. So there were some questions there. Along the same lines, our joint comprehensive planning committee has been meeting, and they are having Tim, would this be the final public meeting that they're having?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Well, whether it's final or not, but they're having a public meeting Thursday, October 19th, 7 to 8:30. That's at Penn Center East at the 333 Rec Building. That was formerly the Alexander's Gym in Penn Center. So there is a public meeting open to the public for all Monroeville residents, Wilkins Township residents, and Churchill residents, and we'll be going over the plan more at that point. But that's Thursday, the 19th of October, 7 to 8:30. That'll be posted on our website as well. Halloween, through the Recreation Department, they're doing something a little different this year. They usually have their Halloween party, but they're having the Halloween Trail of Treats. It's October 28th. That is the Saturday before Trick or Treat. But you join the Monroeville Recreation Department in their first ever Trail of Treats, a Halloween-themed community event for children and their families on Saturday, October 28th. The event will be held at the Monroeville Community Park West from 4 to 7 p.m. The Trail of Treats will begin near the Children's Maze and continue along the trail behind the gazebo from 4 to 6. And everyone's encouraged to come in costume. There'll be costume judging taking place, refreshments, a hayride, and then a child-appropriate movie will follow at the amphitheater. There's no registration required, so that is Saturday the 28th, Halloween Trail of Treats. They're also holding a digital Halloween pet costume contest. So if you want to dress up your pet, you can take a photo and submit it electronically to the annual Pet Halloween Costume Contest to Joanne Morris in Monroeville at the municipality and the Recreation Department. Her email address is available through the website. Certainly you can always call if you have any further questions about that at the Rec Department, and they'll be having judging for that as well.
What time was that, Nick? The Trail of Treats?
The Trail of Treats is going to be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, October 28th.
That's at West.
And not because Linda said anything, and I mean I would have gotten this on my own, but maybe it was a little bit of a reminder. Happy anniversary to my wife Tara. It was yesterday. When was your anniversary, Linda?
Monday.
Past Monday?
This Monday, yeah.
This coming Monday. Okay, so happy anniversary. Past Monday.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to us.
Yeah, to all of us.
You're out of the doghouse, don't worry.
Did I make it? But I love her dearly. And that's all I have for this evening.
Ron, you're up, bud.
First of all, I wanted to express my condolences and prayers to all the people in Las Vegas. I still am having a hard time fathoming that. Moving on, please, to the residents, if you have any concerns or want any input on the budget, it's going to be starting to be presented and having hearings on it, or hearing your concerns or interests. So I encourage you to come to the council meeting if you have those. The next thing is, I was driving through Plum Borough several weeks ago, maybe almost a month ago, and I passed an electronic speed check sign that told me what my speed was, and it was right below the posted speed limit. I quite frankly had never seen one of these before, so I turned around, went back and did it again, except I changed my speed because I wanted to see how accurate it was. And since then I've been in touch with Chief Cole, who got information off of the chief of the Plum Police Department. And I, after researching them and talking to Doug, you want to explain how they work, but although they're expensive, I think Doug encourages them, and I would like council's endorsement or maybe even approval for him to buy 2 of them. Now, you're going to love this, but they're $5,295 a piece. But our goal, what me and Doug were talking about, is he was going to get 2, and use one on the north side of the highway, one on the south side of the highway. The advantage to this over the trailer that you've seen around is, A, they can be moved in a matter of minutes. They also store data and can give him data on the number of cars that went by them, the number that were over the speed limit. They also can take pictures of the car, and he could send out warning letters to the plate. Not enforcement, but warning. And they do gather a lot of data that I know this council has been interested in on certain residential streets.
So, Ron, did you get one of those warning letters? Be honest.
No.
I have to comment on that. There's currently one activated on Pitcairn Road down from the park, Pitcairn Park.
Okay.
On Pitcairn Road.
Say that one.
And
Wall Avenue.
I don't know if it's called Wall. I thought it was Pitcairn Road, but anyhow, yeah, it makes you aware.
I've used the one that the municipality has now in different parts of my neighborhoods, and it's been very effective, but it's old.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do everything yours would do.
This is just a little A-frame thing. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
This thing bolts right to the pole. The battery lasts for 2 weeks under one charge. And
Is it rechargeable?
It comes with 2 batteries. And
Solar? It's solar.
if any of you
not
want
rechargeable. You throw
see
them
this
away
picture
as
of
soon
the
as
car
they're
going
done.
by,
Garbage.
but
Has to be a rechargeable one.
I think it would be very helpful in our attempts to try to get some people to slow down on some residential streets.
Janelle would agree.
And
She's in.
I'll let Doug go from here.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. The gist of it is we have a trailer that we use throughout the municipality, and that's over 10 years old. Technologies, I need to tell you, it's jumped 100-fold since for 10 years. And this is the opportunity. I mean, you can actually have it set up that it'll even email somebody when people go through it at a high rate of speed. You can attach a cellular type of air card, if you want to call it. And there we have air cards already to do that. Where
It
you
even
can have
has a
transmitting
tamper, so
data.
if somebody's tampering with it,
It'll set an alarm off and let us
can-
know. So the technology's really jumped, and it seems like it's a pretty, I can, at least there's half a dozen municipalities in Allegheny County that are using this model itself. I plan to look at some other ones here in the end of October at the International Association of Chiefs of Police. I'm going to be going there for a one-day event to look at their displays, so I'll get some more literature too for other places. But this is a company that comes well recommended. It seems like the system's a very good system to use. It would be something we would certainly want to look forward to doing. I know funding, as I look at the manager here, is always an issue. What do you have in your budget? What do you have in your...
I mean, it's not going to give a license plate because it's frontward looking.
Right.
It's not going to turn around and look at your license plate if I'm doing 80.
Right.
Well, that's correct. But you could also set it up
Just
that
to
it
clarify.
would take, as you go past it, it would take your license plate. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Get it. Would have to have a rear-facing
Yeah,
camera.
yeah,
It does.
all right.
Does it really?
Yeah. So you take
Are you worried
pictures,
about speeding?
I have,
Well, first of
He
all,
wants to know where they're going to be at.
I know where there's one right now.
first of all,
I want to know where these ones
when you
are.
approach it and you're a certain mile an hour, whatever Doug sets it at, over the speed limit, it allows a buffer. When you go by over that speed, the rear-facing camera takes a picture of your car.
And these are movable, so you could have it on
These are
one
movable,
street,
that's
and
correct.
then you can move it to another
and
street.
what we find that's good about it is that, or better about, I shouldn't say totally, because the speed trailers for higher speed roadways, specifically interstates, are what they were designed for, seems to be a better thing. It's a bigger size, you can see it better, that type of stuff. That's why the Turnpike uses it and PennDOT uses those signs. But for us, we really need them. We don't need them on 22 or 48. We need them in our residential areas.
Yeah.
And our cut-through streets, if you want to call it. County roads.
Good sign. It works.
Yeah.
How much? Let's not talk this to death. We talk things to death.
Oh, the chief's
Let's
good
get the
at it.
signs.
Well, he wants to look at when he goes.
I'm not
to
worried
convention
about the
in October.
literature. I'm not worried about October. We've got school kid issues right now. Janelle?
Should-
Hello? Let's go get it. You think it's good? Let's get one.
Thanks.
Two. I mean,
We're good. We're for two. All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Have a great day.
Ron,
you, buddy.
anything else for us?
No, just one little correction, this, Mr. Duncan, that gas station's in the third ward.
What gas station?
The new one.
The
proposed.
new get-go.
The new get-go
What
being
did I
proposed
say?
is in Ward
You said it
Street.
was in Tom's.
Tom's. Okay, I'm sorry.
I just want to
Let's do the merits.
Spank me later.
maybe I should have let that one go. That's it.
Don't be all day.
Yeah, I just have one thing to say. I'd like to offer my condolences to Mike Adams and his family for the passing away of his brother.
Exactly what I forgot.
That's a real tragedy, and also to echo what Ron Harvey just said, also to those families of the victims in Las Vegas. A real tragedy, as Ron said, trying to still figure out why these things happen. Somebody left this briefcase here at the meeting last month. I don't know whose it is. We don't know whose it is, but whosever it is,
Is there money in it?
come pick it up. No,
Not now.
I already took the money out.
I thought maybe we could get the signs
It's nice to
tonight.
have these kind of folks here.
All right, where are we going?
Paul,
I just want to wish my wife Nicole a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Hey, and definitely, my condolences to the Mitch Adams family. Mike Adams is one of my best friends, and he lost his brother. I know his pain.
I hear you.
I lost a brother also, and
I hear you.
my thoughts and prayers go to the victims and families of the Las Vegas tragedy. As far as I'm concerned, it was a complete idiot and evil thing. And I'd love to say that publicly. That's all I
I
have.
think you just did.
Paul,
Again, my
I
condolences
did.
to,
Good.
You did a good job.
my condolences to the Mitch Adams family and the victims of Las Vegas. And I concur with Steve. It was evil. No one should be able to do anything like that. And I know it's going to be hard to believe that there's a person in this room older than me tonight. Happy birthday, Ralph.
Hey, Ralph, happy birthday.
Ralph, yay.
39.
Happy birthday, Ralph.
And Linda, for you and Michael, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Nick, for you and Tara, congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That it, Tom?
It-
I'll be real quick. Obviously, it was already mentioned. Please do get out and vote on the 7th of November. Obviously, Halloween is on October 31st from 6 to 8. If you remember when I changed it several years ago, I almost got hung on a telephone pole outside, so that'll never happen again, at least not Nick. I hope you don't change it. But at any rate, it is October 31st from 6 to 8. Obviously, to the Adams family, I agree. What a tragic loss. If you've been on Facebook, you'd see all the accolades that was given. It's just so sad. Mitch was a great guy, and we will miss him. And obviously, I agree with everybody said about the Las Vegas, but let's go back. Everybody almost forgot. It's about our police. They actually, again, I don't understand some of our residents in this country where they think the police are bad. They're taking fire and they're going to it. They're not running from it. And they were saving as many people as they could. So kudos to all the police department, especially you, Doug, and our guys. I think we have the best in the county, probably in the state, in my opinion. Of course, I'm probably a little prejudiced on that issue, but thank you to all the men and women who do serve us, not just police, but fire and EMS as well. So thank you for your service, and for the civilians that helped as well. They were heroes as well. So with that, I'll seek a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.